Hello and welcome to this important video where I'm covering Elon Musk and his new influence over Europe through the German election and the changes that happen in Germany. And if you're American or Australian or Canadian and think, what the hell, why would I care about Germany and Europe? Well, I assume you have some Tesla shares or you're interested in this. And you might also be interested in the future of the robot revolution. And if you are, and if you own Tesla shares, this video is very important, as I will explain in a second. Just stay with me for a second. So first of all, let's go into what actually happened there in Germany and what Elon did and said in this country to the citizens and the politicians, which is hilarious and very, very important. So let's start with this important tweet here, where Elon tweeted, "Only the AfD can save Germany." Now, if you're not familiar with the situation in Germany, this is a crazy tweet that was basically creating a fire, a wildfire through German media and politicians, and they're all freaking out. The president of Germany now blaming Elon with election interference and all that kind of stuff. So let me explain why this is so important. So in Germany, you basically have a bunch of political parties that have been there for quite a while, right? Let me just explain that quickly. So in Germany, you have basically the following parties. This is a government that actually is defined by coalitions, so no one can win as a singular party, at least very unlikely. You have these 5 different parties. You have the Christian Democrats, which is the CDU. These are these Republicans, so to speak. You have the SPD, the Social Democrats, which are kind of the leftists, the Democrats. You have the FDP, which is a tiny little libertarian party, but spineless libertarians, if I may say so. And then you have the Greens, the Green Party that is very big in Germany, right? It's like over whatever, the latest 20% or something in the last elections. They're very powerful and they are hardcore, kind of environmentalists, or they started out as those. But now they're just leftists who are very woke, very woke. And then you have Die Linke, which is a communist party. They say they're not communists, they're just hardcore socialists or something, but they are de facto communists. They are inheritance of the actual, Eastern Bloc, East Germany, the singular, this little terror party, SED, that had the dictatorship over communist East Germany. They are the same people they inherited. So these people are not woke. These are communists. And there's a new party that came up nearly, 10 years ago or something, the Alternative for Germany, AfD. And bear with me, I'm not going to bore you too long with this, but you have these established parties, the CDU, the SPD, the Libertarian FDP, the Greens, the woke Greens, and then the communists. And this new party came in and said, this is a joke, right? What is this? We need a new party. And they created the Alternative for Germany, Alternative for Deutschland, AfD. And that party is basically in its founding a very libertarian party that is very economically minded. They started commenting on the European Union. It was founded by a bunch of economics professors. It's currently led by a former Goldman Sachs investment banker. And it attracted also the kind of alienated right wing of Germany. So the people who like Germany, who like the country, who want to protect the borders. And in Germany, that's like a big no-no. You can't be pro-German because of its history. The Germans are still having these issues with saying they're proud to be Germans and stuff like that. So now we have the situation that the AfD, which is the alternative, very libertarian, attracts more smart people than the other parties, I would say. The other parties are a bunch of teachers and children books authors. So in Germany, being a politician is not a very highly esteemed job. It's not like in the United States where every billionaire wants to be a politician. No, in Germany, it's more like no one wants to be a politician. And you don't have, unfortunately, the smartest people in politics. I hate to say it. Of course, there's always 1 or 2 exceptions, but the general gist of it is, they're not sending their best to go to politics. Now, the AfD has changed that a little bit, so there's an IQ differential between the AfD leadership and most of the other parties. It's very funny to witness when you hear the speeches. It's very apparent. But Of course, the AfD is this disruptive force in a way similar to Trumpism in the United States, but very different. It's a very German permutation of, populism, very high IQ. When they speak, it's very different. And so what happened is that the established parties, together with, of course, the usual suspects, the mainstream media, formed that, what they call the Brandmauer, which is like a firewall against the AfD. They said, oh, we might be Republicans and communists and totally woke green people and social democrats, and we might on paper have differences, but we all know we want the same thing. We want to keep Germany weak and weird with open borders, start a little war with Russia. We agree on all these things. And we don't care if Germany has tons of mass immigration and all kinds of problems. We all want the same thing. And this AfD crowd, what is this? They want to destroy our order or our disorder. And so they formed this protective wall against the AfD together with the mainstream media. So that was actually very effective for a long time because Germany is much more controlled than the United States. The media market, for example, the media landscape. So there are a few established media pieces. And if you think the New York Times is bad, welcome to Germany. It's way worse. And so they were able to suppress the AfD kind of, even though the AfD was the only party that represents the will of the people. So if you go to and talk to any random German, most of them are like, yeah, I like my country. I kind of like my culture. I think we achieved some good things. I want to be friendly to foreigners, but I also want borders and I don't want to get killed and raped on the street. So most Germans were actually in line with the AfD, but the distortion was high enough that the AfD never got over 15, close to 20% maybe, which is a lot if you have 5 parties, because the biggest party has 30%. AfD already got to 20, but they didn't break through that because it was such a no-no, a taboo to openly say you're supporting the AfD. So now what happened? There was a new coalition formed. I don't want to bore you with too many details, but Angela Merkel was the CDU chancellor, so the Republican chancellor, and she made some horrible decisions about immigration. She opened the borders and said illegal mass migration is totally fine. We make that all fine. And then Germany effectively got invaded by millions of weird people from the Middle East and Africa, which created the expected total disaster. And then a new government came into power that was actually worse, right? That was actually now the Greens together with the FDP and the SPD. So that was a pretty woke government over the last few years. And the Greens were pretty much in charge of dictating what's going to happen. And they did some very bad things. I can't explain why that happened, but they did it. They basically dismantled Germany's energy landscape. So the German industry is very dependent on, energy from nuclear power to Russian power. And that all got dismantled more or less through multiple mechanics. And then COVID was a total disaster in Germany, where they did horrible things to the population. So now everyone is extremely pissed. The economy is going down the drain, very big problems. And there is a giant battle in Germany over what's going to happen. But the suppression of the AfD was ongoing. So in this whole mess, right, it's a big mess with a lot of oppression and, censorship and all kinds of stuff. Elon comes along and he sees that. And if you probably know, Elon has invested a lot of money in Germany. He has built the Gigafactory Berlin, which is very important because it's a central production hub for Tesla for Europe, which is a very important market. And Elon was betting on Germany. I think he was right to do it. But Elon also understands if this shit show continues, there is no Germany anymore very soon. He also has the momentum now with the Trump situation in the United States. And I think the fact that Elon is starting to actually tweet these kinds of things here, there's actually more. That now he actually agreed. Where's that? He actually agreed to do a Spaces with Alice Weidel, which is the boss of the AfD and the chancellor candidate for the AfD. And he says, okay, I'm going to do Spaces with her, which is another revolution. I don't know when this is going to happen, but it's probably going to happen before the new election, which is in February. This is a very big deal. And the German media is in disarray. And they're really starting to hate very big on Elon. And so this is an interesting situation. I have some footage of the Gigafactory here just for fun. This is the Gigafactory Berlin. Beautiful. That's Germany's best hope for Optimus, for humanoid robots, and for Model 3, Model Y, and everything that's to come. And so Elon is kind of making a huge bet here. Now it's getting interesting. So Elon is going to make is making a very big bet that the AfD is much stronger than the German conservative or established media and elites think. Elon is not a hero and he's not a dummy. What I mean with he's not a hero, he's not someone who wants to self-sacrifice, and he's not a dummy, which means he's mostly right. He's very rarely wrong. And so for me, analyzing the situation, the fact that Elon now comes out pro-AfD, you guys have to understand what that means. It's like coming out as pro-Trump in 2022 or something. The fact that Elon does that has created a wildfire. Lots of smart German influencers are now on X. They're all pushing X. They're switching more to English because they understand how important it is to get international support and awareness of the German situation. Because wherever Germany goes, Europe goes. And Elon understands this. And my prediction is that Elon, as always, is a little ahead of everyone. He understands the informational landscape, and he understands that the AfD has a much better shot than anyone thinks, coming out on top in February. I'm not making the prediction that the AfD is going to beat the CDU and become the biggest party, but I would say the odds are actually over 50% that the AfD comes out on top, and that would be a total revolution, right? In that moment, I mean, Germany is getting liberated. So this is a very interesting situation because Elon understands a bunch of things. He understands the chances are now high that the AfD can actually seize power in Germany, or at least break through this firewall and create a coalition with the CDU, potentially with the CDU as the junior coalition partner, and Alice Weidel becomes chancellor. As I said, this is like, no one can even imagine that, but I think Elon understands there is a reasonable chance that this happens if we push hard enough. And the second thing he understands is Germany might be in terrible shape right now and completely in disarray, completely mismanaged and destroyed by these not very intelligent and self-destructive politicians. But he also understands that Germany as a culture, as an economy, as a nation can turn around dramatically fast. You know, that's what people don't understand about Germany. I think Germany is highly organized. The people are highly organized. They have a lot of smart people there and great infrastructure. And what that means is if they had the right leadership and get regulations down and get entrepreneurship up and get people in charge, also culturally in charge, who actually want to see Germany being strong and successful, this whole ship can turn around much faster than anyone thinks. And if that happens, Europe becomes strong again. And Germany also has the biggest cultural influence on Europe and political influence. So if Germany gets turned around and comes to its senses and abandons wokeness, that would have a ripple effect throughout Europe of unprecedented proportions. And that would be very good for Europe as an economy. It would be very good for Europe as a market. And it would be very good for Tesla that needs Europe as a third big leg between China, US, and the rest of the world, right? So for me, that means the fact that Elon becomes so active in Germany with the risk he's taking theoretically of alienating basically the entire elite and establishment in Germany means that he sees the AfD is much stronger than people think. He sees on X and everywhere that the people have had it and there's a revolution coming in Germany, that he's betting as always on the right horse, and that he understands that Germany is the key to Europe and that Tesla is going to take over huge parts of the European industrial base as it does in the US, in China, and everywhere else. So it's very good news for Tesla shareholders. I think it's very good news for German citizens. I think it's very good news for the EU, and it's a very good news for freedom and civilization. So I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if you want to hear more about the European and German situation and Tesla. I think Germany will be one of the biggest beneficiaries of the robot revolution if it has leadership that's not completely woke, because Germany can translate the benefits of, free universal high-skilled labor that Optimus brings to the game in 2 or 3 years. Germany will benefit the most together with South Korea and Japan from these robots. And so to prepare Germany to get out of their woke mind, to put people in charge who love their country in Germany, that want to see Germany strong, is the key to actually introducing large-scale robot labor in Germany and boosting the German economy to tremendous heights. And of course, Tesla stock as always. So I think this is all very interesting, the situation. We will keep observing that. Let me know if you find that interesting. I think it has huge implications if it goes right for Tesla stock and geopolitics of Elon, and huge implications, positive implications for Germany. So see you next time.